here. I'm going to dive right in. If you have any questions or comments, you're more than welcome to jump on Zoom and join me. The link is in the caption. But if you leave any comments or questions on Facebook, I will go back and look at every single one of them and make sure that I do respond. And so please tag another mom that needs this. That's pretty much all of us, right? We're all moms. We all can raise our hand. We all can say that we're busy. So tag another mom who can use the information. Please share for another mom who can use these 7 self-care tips. And they're all not only self-care tips that's going to be able to help us, right, mamas? It is 7 practical self-care tips that you're going to be able to use. Hey, Crystal, thanks for joining me. See here. And so at any time, anybody who does join me on Zoom, you're more than welcome to, at any point, ask any questions, or we can talk about whatever you would like to talk about in regards to self-care. But I wanted to come on beginning of the year, 2021, talk about self-care because we all know, and I talk about this all the time, we tend to forget about ourselves or put ourselves last, right? And if we keep doing that, eventually we're going to be exhausted, we're going to be stressed out, we're going to deal with fatigue, or we're going to experience fatigue, all those things that we know will happen. But for whatever reason, we just keep putting ourselves on the back burner. 2021, we're going to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And so I want you to slow walk this thing. And so if you can't necessarily say like, man, I really just still have to put my kids first, or my spouse first, or my family first, my friends first, whatever that looks like for you, right? Just put yourself on the table, put yourself on the calendar, plan for yourself, put yourself on the schedule. That's all I'm asking you to do. So small baby steps. So what I am asking you to do is just be intentional about taking care of yourself in 2021. And so again, these are going to be 7 practical tips, because there a lot of times you hear tips like, oh, book a spa day, or oh, go on a vacation with a friend, or go do this with a friend, or who your family member, whatever that looks like. Get away, go get a hotel without the kids. And that sounds good and that's great. And some people can do that, but some people can't. Some people may not be able to have that in their budget. Some people may be on restriction for finances because you're trying to get out of debt, or whatever that looks like, right? And so sometimes there's financial restrictions. Sometimes we have smaller children. We're leaving them, if you're a single mom, or if you have a spouse who's always at work. We have moms who have spouses who are in active duty, or they work odd hours. Whatever the circumstances may be, right? Sometimes we can't just leave the house, or we can't just go on the vacation and just leave the kids. And so I want to give you 7 practical tips that you can start doing today, putting yourself on the calendar, planning, scheduling for yourself today. 7 practical tips that you can do today. And I think for the majority of them, you don't even really have to leave the house. And so we know we're all in quarantine, COVID, all that good stuff. So a lot of us are not even leaving the house frequently anyways. And so these are going to be some tips that you can use, that you can do right from your home. So let me just jump right in. Again, thank you so much for joining me. This is our Mom Talk Sunday Night Live. We're here at a new time in 2021, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you for all the moms who take the time out. We're typically on here for about 30 to 40 minutes, who take the time out to jump on with me on Zoom, or even watching on Facebook. Even if you're watching a replay, thank you so much. Make sure you're asking any questions or comments. I am here for you to provide practical resources, tools, suggestions, tips, strategies, all of that good stuff. And so make sure that you're getting the help that you need. One last thing I will mention before I go into the 7 tips for tonight: if there's a particular subject that I have not covered, all of these old videos are on my YouTube channel under Trimika Crowder. But if there's a particular subject that I have not covered that you would love for me to cover, or even if I don't have the expertise or the strategies to be able to give you, and I need to bring on a guest speaker, please let me know. Inbox me, email me, whatever you need to do. If you have my number, text me, whatever that looks like. Let me know how I can help you when it comes to these mom talks. They are absolutely free. This is one of the free resources. including our book club that is offered to all moms for free. And so if you're interested in giving me any particular subjects or even joining our book club, we had our first meeting last night. It was awesome. Please let me know, reach out to me, write in the comments, again, inbox me, and I'll be happy to get you plugged in, and I'll be happy to hear about any particular topic that you want to discuss. So let's get into this, right? Hey, Shelly, thank you for joining me on Zoom. The first tip that I want to give you is be physical. So I know you may be saying like, Tarika, I'm already physical, running behind these kids and cooking and cleaning. And yes, I do get that, but that is things that we have to do on a normal basis. You need to shock your body and do something different. And so what I want you to do when I say be physical, I don't care if that's walking up and down the steps twice a week or twice a day. I don't care if it's walking around your house, walking around your block. If you're like me, you don't like being in the cold, you're not going outside. And so just turning on YouTube and putting on a 10-minute cardio video, whatever that looks like. It does not have to cost you anything. Doing a few jumper jacks. I don't know if we moms want to do jumper jacks, but whatever it looks like, running in place. Going up and down the steps, I feel like is maybe like the toughest thing and one of the easiest things that we can do as far as it being available to us. And so running up and down the steps, 10-minute video on YouTube, get your kids involved, get your spouse involved, whatever that looks like. You don't even have to leave the house to walk around Zoom. I'm sorry, to walk around Zoom. So walk around the block or your neighborhood, whatever that looks like, be physical, get active. No matter what it is. And it doesn't have to be long and drawn out. You don't have to go hire a trainer. If you can afford it, great. That's awesome. I do encourage that. But if it's just nothing more than 5 to 10 minutes per day, figure out what you can do to get physical and be active around the house. That's tip number one. Tip number two, and these are not going to be your average tips, right? Not your average tips, but tips that is going to help you, practical tips is going to help you when it comes to self-care. So tip number two is stop over obligating yourself to things and to people. And so what that looks like is sometimes we're just saying yes because we feel guilty about saying yes. Sometimes we feel like we have to say yes, like, we owe somebody something or whatever the case may be. Or if I don't say yes, then nobody else is going to do it. How many times have you volunteered to be the team mom or the cookie mom or the assistant to the softball team, whatever that looks like in your life, showing up to do things for our family and friends? And don't get me wrong, we should be helping them, right? But sometimes we're saying yes to too many things. And so we're moving some of the stuff off your plate. And so if you all know me, I'm so into giving you practical tasks. So this is a small homework assignment that I have for tip number two. I want you, and I did this with all my clients, write down a full list of all the things you've obligated yourself to, just your first quarter. Don't even go to I show up to help at the hospital around Christmas time, whatever that looks like. I want you to just do it just for the first quarter of the year. So I'm volunteering on this team. I'm volunteering in the community. Maybe you're doing something at your church. You signed up to be on this extra team or group at work. You're taking on extra clients, whatever that looks like. Every single thing that you're obligating yourself to. Now, this is outside of the normal, I have to raise my kids because you got to raise them, or I have to be married and take care of things, as a wife, those duties. Outside of that, all the things that you have obligated yourself to. And I want you to really be realistic and ask yourself, do you have the capacity to do everything that you have on your list? So let's say, for example, you write down everything and it's 7 things. Do you really have the capacity to do all those 7 things? Let's say you write down everything in your list and it's only 3 things. Still asking yourself, do you have the capacity to do them? And then the next question I want you to ask yourself is whether or not you feel obligated to do it. Like, are you doing it because you're passionate about it? Are you doing it because there's really not anyone else to do it? Or are you doing it just because you've been doing it for a while, just because they called you and asked you directly? Like, why? Or find out if you're obligating yourself to it and figure out why. And so that's one of the things that I need you to do. And what this does is, if you're taking stuff off your plate, you're going to have more time for yourself. You're going to give your body more time to rest. You're going to give your mind more time to rest. And so we have to be sure that we're not over obligating ourselves. Tip number 3 is, so number 1 is getting physical or be physical. Number 2 is stop over obligating yourself to things. And then number 3 is stimulate your mind. And so we may not think that this is self-care, but when it comes to self-care, everyone just normally first goes to like a spa day, relaxation day, which I get it. We're moms. We got a lot going on. We want to be able to relax, sleep. We immediately go to a nap, and I get it, right? But this is your whole being, taking care of your entire being, which means your spiritual being, your physical being, mental, all of that, your soul, all of that, right? And so stimulating your mind is very, very important because you're learning and you're growing and you're expanding your horizon. And so how do you stimulate your mind? Those practical tasks again. You can read, you can listen to certain podcasts. Those are two just prime examples that you can do to learn and grow. Maybe you might want to start connecting with a mentor and learning from them and shadowing them, or maybe you want to hire a coach, whatever that looks like for you. Getting a part of something that empowers you is going to be really, really good. And I'm going to just throw this out there. I mentioned in the beginning of the call, we do have a book club. And so we are learning and growing together, and we're committing to doing that for the entire year. So if you are not like the person that, I kind of don't really like to read, and you need that accountability or that support, join a book club. It doesn't even have to be ours. We do have a Mom Squad book club. Doesn't have to be our book club. Find out if your church have one. Find out if the community have one. Start one in your neighborhood. Start one with your friends. Whatever that looks like. Figure out a way to stimulate your mind. Stimulating your mind, again, looks like listening to podcasts. You can listen to sermons on YouTube. A lot of people are coming on Clubhouse a lot more, that social media app that a lot of people are talking about, and they're having like vast variety of conversations. Just make sure that there are conversations that are stimulating your mind. So that's tip number 3. Number 4 is get social. And what I mean by that is, we're so busy, right? That really spending time with friends, it kind of goes on the back burner. We're often sending out texts, and I can say I'm guilty of this. Like, girl, I'm so sorry. I hope all is well. All is well is with me. I just been so busy. We need to stop doing that, and we actually need to show up. We need to show up and be social. And so that's going to help us. It stimulates us. It puts us in a happy place. We enjoy things. We laugh at things. That helps our well-being as well. So it's a part of self-care. And so you may want to book those girls' nights out. Even like I just told one of my group of friends, let's just hop on Zoom. And so figuring out what that looks like for you without leaving the house, and if your friends understand, if your friends like me, the baby can be crying in the background because you won't hold them in their lap, just spoiled, right? Not like we're neglecting them, right? Or they can be playing with their toys loudly in the background. It doesn't matter. My friends understand. And so getting together with friends or whoever, there's a lot of groups out there. Again, we have a Mom Squad. If you want to join us, we have events throughout the month, but make sure you get connected to some type of tribe, something that's going to help you be social, whether it's just one other friend. So getting social is very, very key as well. So start carving out time. When I talk about putting yourself on the schedule, putting yourself on the planner, these are things practical that you do not have to leave the home for. So again, number 4 was get social. So figure out what that looks like. If that's one time a week, one time every other week, maybe it's only a couple hours on the 3rd Saturday every month. I don't care how often you do it. I just want you to start doing it, and I want you to start where you are. Number 5 is morning and night routines. This really, really helps your mind and your body, especially your body, because you're telling your body how the process of the morning is going to go and how the process of the night is going to go. So it knows once you start to go into a routine, let's say at night, it's going to let your body know now it's time to start winding down so that you can get the proper rest that you need to be able to show up as the best version of yourself the next day, right? Getting the proper rest to just be able to show up, period, the next day. Morning routines is the same thing. You got chores to do, you got to cook, clean, all the things you have to do, show up for work, show up for business, whatever that looks like in a day in your life. But morning routines helps your body get into a rhythm as well that say, okay, now it's time to do this. Now it's time to do this. X, Y, and Z, whatever your morning looks like. And so morning routines are going to be very, very morning and evening night routines are going to be very, very key. Let me give you a few examples. I'm switching mine up, so I'm just throwing out some ideas. This is not anything that I do in particular. So at night, Maybe you would want to go over like a task list or something for that, what you have for the day, the next day. I'll always teach this priority list. Choose 3 things that's the most important to get done. If you don't get the other 10 things done, it's okay, sis. You got those 3 things done. That was the most important. Maybe you will drink a hot cup of lemon water or a hot cup of tea, whatever that looks like. Maybe you will fall asleep to your favorite podcast or something on YouTube, whatever that looks like, right? Shutting off the light, shutting off the TV at a certain time. Do what you can and start where you are. I just want you to start somewhere. And so that's kind of like an example. Maybe you want to pray at night, read a book until you fall asleep. That's an example of a night routine. Another thing that I want to start getting into, and I haven't done it yet, is like doing like a cleansing of my face. So some people do that, or they do something to their hair, just something to kind of relax your body and let your body know that it's about to go into a sleep routine. Morning routines may look like the same thing. Maybe it's cleansing your face, doing some type of things to your hair in the morning. Most times as moms, we do not have time for that, right? And so it may be prayer, it may be meditation, it may be working out, walking up and down those steps a few times, like I mentioned, whatever that looks like, kind of rising before the kids, right? And getting that quiet time in to be able to pray or meditate is going to be very important. So those are some examples of what you can do for a morning and evening routine. Number 6 is create your own at-home spa. Pamper yourself at home. And so I know everyone would love to probably go to the spa, stay there. I want to go like one day and just stay for like a half a day. Like, I just don't want to go home. I want to eat there. I want to drink there. I want to get a massage. I want to get a pedicure, manicure, whatever, like whatever services y'all have, just give me all of that, right? And so sometimes that's not realistic, again, because of time restraints, because of the age of our children, maybe because of our situation with our children. Maybe we're a single parent, like I said, or have a spouse that does work a lot, or maybe even financial restrictions. And so create an at-home spa. And so it may not look like spending a half a day, but maybe including that nighttime routine, you take a bubble bath. You may not be able to take a bubble bath every week, but you might can take it every night, but you may be able to take it one time a week. You may even be able to take it every one time a month. So again, wherever you are, start where you are. You can go to the Dollar Tree. Of course, this does involve you leaving the house. You have a whole bunch of candles you can buy for $1. Put them all over your bathroom. I remember like putting up blankets to my windows to like black them out, because I have curtains and I have blinds, but it still lets through some sun, right? So either buying blackout curtains or putting something up to your curtains, your window in your bathroom, if you have a window in there, to like completely make it black. I will go on YouTube or Pandora, put on a spa music channel, whatever you need to do to create like your own at-home oasis. Maybe it's a small spot in your closet, or maybe it is in the bathroom. That's the only place you can get away. If your kids are busting in the bathroom, then maybe you have to find another location, or maybe finding a time where the kids are asleep or not home where you can do this. But whatever you do, maybe it's just going to Walmart, and this is involving purchasing small purchase and getting like the little spa thing where you can put your feet in there and soak your feet. I don't care if you paint your nails afterwards. I don't care what you do. Just sit there and relax and watch a TV show, binge watch something on Netflix. Whatever you feel comfortable with to create an at-home spa for yourself and pamper yourself at home, do just that. So if you love music, if you love dancing, if you love doing your hair, carve out time, put it on your schedule, put it on your planner to be able to do it. One of my favorite things, for those of you who know me, I love, love, love candles, water and candles. So I can't go to the beach every day, but I can turn a beach sound on my phone. Of course, it's not the same, but sometimes you just need that escape, right? So figuring out what your escape looks like to be able to pamper yourself at home is going to be very, very key. The last thing that I'm going to mention, tip number 7, and we're talking about 7 practical self-care tips for busy moms. So if you have been watching, thank you so much. Please, if you just joined us and you think it's some good information, please tag another mom so that she can see this information, or share it on your page. The last tip is limit or eliminate things and people who drain you. Yes, it's a self-care tip. It surely is. And so you ever see people call or text you and like you like immediately just drain from seeing their name or their phone number pop across the screen, or it's just always something every time you communicate with this particular person or every time you show up in this particular place. Doesn't just have to be people. It could be things or things that we're obligating ourselves to, TV shows that you're watching. And so whatever that is, it can be foods that you're eating that you know you feel drained after you eat them. Like you indulged in it, you enjoyed it while you ate it, but now it makes you feel so sick. Or like I remember a couple of Thanksgivings ago, I got full that I was saying like I literally was full up to my throat, right? That's how I felt because I ate so much food and I felt so sick afterwards. Like, why would we do these things if we know we're gonna feel drained or we're gonna feel sick or we can't show and be our best self afterwards, right? And so I just use as an example, but you know the things in your life that you're doing, the habits that you may have, you know the people who you're connected to that again you might not want to cut them off, but you may want to limit the conversation or limit the time that you're spending together. So whatever that looks like, limit or eliminate the people or things that drain you. And that's tip number 7. So I'm going to run back through them. And if y'all have any questions on Zoom, let me know. If you want to come off mute, let me know as well. And I'll be happy to do that. So number 1 is be physical. Number 2 is stop over obligating. Number 3 is stimulate your mind. Number 4, get social. Number 5 is morning and night routines. Number 6 is create a home spa / pamper yourself at home. And number 7 is limit or eliminate things and people who drain you. So those are my 7 self-care tips that I wanted to give today. And so again, if you are on Zoom with me, that's the whole point of you coming on. I love when y'all come on and join me on Zoom. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Are you trying to come off mute, Shelly?
You know it, Coach. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. How are you?
Good. I literally just left the spa.
Yes.
So I got picked up. I told my honey, I was like, stop me by Starbucks because I got a 5 o'clock because I really want to go home and lay down, but I got to get this. So my question is, the last is 2 of them that I just want to hear kind of like, I guess you share more like examples so that I can make sure that I can make these applicable. So when you said for tip number 4, the get social part, and the tip number 7, both of those involve people, you know, and people can be, you know, sharing time with people is time that is not, I don't want to say that it's not productive time, but it's not productive in the sense of money making, or sometimes it's not even enriching, depending, I guess, on how social you are or who it may be. So if you can help me, because to me, like both of those 2 are like where I'm trying to say, okay, how can I make them applicable? How can I be more social without getting sucked into being too social? You know, because sometimes a 15-minute break on Facebook or IG can turn into an hour and a half or 2 hours for me. And then so a lot of times I just don't even engage for days at a time. And then for number 7, the one you closed out with, when you said, again, limit or eliminate people who drain you. So if you just can kind of elaborate there for helpful tips.
Yeah, so I think that what you brought up is a good point. And so starting with what you talked about really kind of getting distracted. Like I get social, I'm gonna go on social media and I plan to be on it for 15 minutes, but then I end up being on it for an hour and a half. And so I'm not saying to get social in order to be distracted. So if that's the case, then we have to figure out like how time blocks will work for you. So for example, I know that I have to do A, B, and C for the day, right? But between B and C, I want to take a little bit of time because I blocked off time to be social, but I don't want to spend a lot of time there. And so time blocks may be very helpful to be like, okay, well, I'm going to scroll through. I don't care if you got to set an alarm on your phone. And so it's the small things that we do for our kids that sometimes we don't think we need to do for ourselves as adults, and we do. So set an alarm on Alexa on your phone to say, okay, I'm going to scroll through and be social, talk to people for 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever that looks like. And then I'm going to jump right back into the game or the grind to do whatever I need to do, whether that's in business or around the house. So that when it comes to social media, that's what I would say to that. But when I was talking about this particular thing, I wasn't necessarily talking about social media. I was more talking about connecting with people, because for some moms, right, not all, we get so caught up in taking care of our kids, going to work every day, running the business, that we literally forget sometimes that we have friends. And it's important that we cultivate those relationships. We can't wait and say like, oh, okay, well, girl, it's June. I'm sorry I ain't talked to you since January. I just been busy, and expect that friend to show up and reciprocate that. It's not fair to the person, and it's not fair to you as an individual. And so when I talk about connecting or getting social with like a friend, a family member, it can be a group of people that you don't even know. And that goes back to stimulating your mind. Maybe you want to show up on Clubhouse for 15, 30 minutes or an hour, whatever that looks like, that you blocked off to have some encouraging conversations. But when I tell the tip about getting social, I'm more or less saying be social so that you can bring about happiness, bring about that laughter. We can't go for 6 months without laughing with a friend. Like, we can't do that, right? And so laughter, happiness, stimulating our mind, somebody we can talk to so that we can be encouraged, we can be empowered. That may look like a coach or a mentor. That doesn't necessarily have to be a friend. And so I get what you're saying, that sometimes, not necessarily we're caught up, but we're so focused on being productive in certain areas that we kind of forget about that. And it's really important that we connect with people. Like, there's no way we can just live this life, like, because what happens when the kids leave the house, right? Or your spouse kind of doing their own thing if you are married. And then what? Like, you got no friends, you got nobody to do nothing with. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be friends. Maybe it's somebody you're in a club with, even like you're in Mom Squad, maybe it's another member in Mom Squad. But getting connected for those purposes, happiness, laughing, encouragement, being empowered, it will give you the drive that you need to keep going. And so giving your body that break to be able to get connected and be social is important. The last one that you mentioned about limiting or eliminating people or things, sometimes we have to do that. And that looks like showing up in certain atmospheres, certain places. That looks like conversations. And then that looks like habits that we have of over obligating, not saying no, things that are literally draining us. We may not realize it, but it's draining us and it's stopping us from being productive in another area. So they're kind of the complete opposite. One, being social to be able to stimulate ourselves, stimulate our mind, be happy, be encouraged, be empowered. And the other ones is what people or things are you engaging in that's bringing about the complete opposite reaction to you. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that answered your question. Cool. Okay, good. Any other questions, comments? Questions or comments? Well, if nothing else, that is all I have for you. If you are on Zoom, if you can drop in the chats and let me know, like, what was one of your takeaways from today, one of the things that you enjoyed or that you learned, or something that was maybe just a reminder to you. Let's see here. How about now, Shelly? Oh, Crystal, I'm sorry. Come off now.
All right, I think it just, yes. Can you hear me now?
I can. How are you?
Hi. Wonderful, wonderful. So first I want to start off by saying thank you for providing this outlet for moms. As a busy mom, a takeaway for me, I just wanted to share, and any feedback that you haven't given is very appreciated. I appreciate all that you've done so far. So I think for me as a busy mom, and at this point an overwhelmed mom, I've looked at the list and I said maybe it'll be more realistic for me to look at the whole list of 7 and choose like 2 or 3 that I'm going to challenge myself to do this week, like within the next 7 days. So, and I looked at what things am I not doing? So I'm not physical. So the getting physical, and I consider myself to be social and connecting with my friends, but just being more positive when I do, instead of always talking about what's bringing me down or what's overwhelming me. So I'm going to challenge myself to do that, and the pamper at home, because I don't do that at all. So thank you. And so I guess that's more so of a comment.
I love it for coming off mute. Thank you for joining. Yes, that's awesome. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So what do you think you're going to do to pamper at home? Have you thought about it as I was talking about it, or what do you think? No, not yet.
No, I don't know. it's gonna be a challenge. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Maybe just unplugging and just because I don't really get to watch a lot of the things that I like. Because I let my family watch everything they like. So maybe just unplugging and saying, hey, I need y'all to go to Barnes and Nobles or just go run an errand, and taking a couple hours to say, okay, I'm just going to get my glass of beverage of choice and just like binge watch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds amazing. And unplugging, like even beyond what you're like unplugging from social media, sometimes that's a form of self-care too, because sometimes we get unmotivated when we start comparing ourselves to everybody, that other moms that we see on social media. So that's really good. And then I just wanted to say real Crystal, one of the things that you mentioned of choosing a couple, like, yes, start where you are. And so if you feel like it's too much, or maybe I'm already doing a few, kind of like start where you are, challenge yourself. I love that you put that out there. So everybody watching, this is a challenge that Crystal made up. Challenge yourself to do at least like 2 or 3 within the next 7 days. I love that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go run to the store and get me one of those weighted blankets I've heard about. And maybe that'll be a part of my pamper at home.
About that. Let me know how that goes. I heard about that. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do.
I'm sorry. I don't know if she is, but thank you so much for sharing, Crystal. So,
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, she shared something. Let's see. Look, now I'm curious to see what it is. Something on Amazon. It's an expandable, detachable. Oh, yes. I like this. Okay. A caddy tray. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Awesome. So thank you for sharing that, Shelly. I'll share that on social media so everybody can see it as well. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on with me. Thank you for all that has been watching via Facebook. I will definitely get back to any of your questions or comments that you made, and I'll reply. And if you have any questions, want to chat a little bit more, need more information, please connect with me. Reach out to me on Facebook or whatever it is. Reach out to me so that I can make sure you are where you need to be for 2021. The last thing that I want to mention is I have a bunch of templates, 3 templates on scheduling, creating a happy list, mapping out your goals, whatever that looks like. I have that on my website, TremeccaCrowdout.com/shop. Make sure you go there while you're there. Sign up for the free newsletters that go out. I'm going to be switching that up a bit. I'm really, really excited about that. We're going to be honing in on some of the experts of the moms that we have within the group and sharing their expertise. So I'm so excited about that. And if you love my earrings that I have on tonight, you can grab those in the shop as well. So thank you so much for joining me for another week of Sunday Night Live Mind Talk. I will see you all next week. Y'all enjoy. Have a good night. And have a productive week.